I was introduced to the Negro Leagues as a youngster when I watched the barnstorming games with my stepdad in Coatesville, Pennsylvania, as the black teams took the white teams to the cleaners. It was some of the best baseball I've ever seen played, but what impressed me even more was the gentlemanly behavior of the black players. They were frequently cursed and mocked by the opposing team and fans, and there was not one retaliation. God, was I impressed. Those images remain with me till I die.
Tonight we have some wonderful guests, including future Hall of Famer Leon Day, who lives right here in Baltimore.
Assisting Leon is the president of American Baseball Classics, Lee Sherman, whose establishment is down there at the Inner Harbor. Lee brought some Negro baseball caps and photographs to be awarded as prizes tonight and on future programs. And to tell us a little bit about his store, another guest this hour will be baseball historian Todd Bolton, chairman of the Negro League Committee of the Society for American Baseball Research, or SABR. Todd will update us on the symposium taking place February the 8th, 9th, next week, called The Athlete in Black America 1850 to 1950, taking place at the John Brown Museum in Harpers Ferry, West Virginia.
Also joining us tonight will be many of the people who contributed to making Leon Day's Day. Our day, too. Such a great success. It was a thrill for everybody. If you saw Leon on TV, you noticed he was wearing a Newark Eagles baseball jersey. In fact, he's wearing it again tonight. Still looks clean, pressed, wonderful. Guess you haven't pitched many games in it yet, huh?
Nope.
No dust on it yet. This shirt was created especially for Leon with his own personal number 10 on the back. Jerry Cohen of Ebbetsfield Flannel will stop by for a few minutes. And atop Leon's head, and he's got it on tonight too, it's going to be warm, I think, a little bit, these wool caps, you saw a Newark Eagles cap courtesy of Steve Valeri's Roman ink.
And Sandlot Legends Neil Lester, who, boy, what a commercial we got here, huh, friends? But all these guys donated stuff. Sandlot Legends Neil Lester, who manufacture Negro League pennants, will stop by to present one of Newark Eagles pennants to Leon Day. By the way, these pennants, hats, shirts, photos of these players, and much more are all available locally at Lee Sherman's store, American Baseball Classics, down where? At the Inner Harbor, of course. And second hour, we'll be joined by Hall of Famer Monty Irvin, who will give us a player's comparison view of the Negro Leagues versus the white major leaguers. Third hour, we'll hear from Larry Lester, treasurer and historian of the Negro League Baseball Museum in Kansas City, Missouri, for the historical and researcher's view of black baseball in America. We especially look forward to your calls that hour, and of course, Leon Day and Todd Bolton are invited to stay with us through the entire program, but I don't think we're going to make it through the entire show. It depends on how much energy we got, right, guys? We apologize, friends, for the lengthy introduction tonight, but realizing how few of you listeners were aware of the Negro Baseball Leagues, much less the star player who resides to this day right here in Baltimore, we decided to fill you in before we get down to business. Leon Day was born in Alexandria, Virginia on October 30th, 1916. A versatile player, Leon played both second base and the outfield in his 22-year career. He was a switch hitter who was consistently around the 300 mark. One time, Day was locked in a 0-0 pitching battle with his old rival, Satchel Paige. Leon settled matters by homering off Satch in the ninth inning to score the game's only run and pocket the victory. As a matter of fact, Day won 3 out of 4 starts against Paige, and his 7 East-West All-Star Game appearances stand as a record for the Negro Leagues.
Leon played professional baseball for 22 years, summer and winter, in half a dozen countries. He appeared in a record 7 Negro League All-Star games between 1935 and 1946 and set an All-Star record by striking out a total of 14 batters. His best season was in 1937 when in league play he finished the 61-game season going 13-0 with a .320 average. You know, I was telling Leon I made this terrible mistake when I was making a comment on his wonderful Leon Day Day, and I said his batting average, I abbreviated 3-0, and I really did mean 300, and I said I was so terribly embarrassed. I got it right tonight, a 320 average. During winter ball in 1939 to 1940, Leon Day established a new Puerto Rican league record for strikeouts in a single game with 19. He also led the league that winter with 168 strikeouts. In 1942, Leon Day established a Negro League record by striking out 18 Baltimore Elite Giants in a single game. Later that year, 1942, during the All-Star game, he and Satchel Paige each entered the game against each other in the 7th inning with the score tied 2-2. Leon faced 7 batters, struck 5 of them out, the last 4 in succession to end the game, and beat Paige 5-2.
In 1942, Leon was named to the Pittsburgh Courier's All-Star. Boy, we got a lot of stuff on you, Lee. I'm telling you, for the American team for the Negro Leagues, Day and Page were rated the 2 best pitchers, with Day being rated over Page. The paper said, quote, Leon Day is the best pitcher in Negro baseball, despite the fact that he was used daily either as a pitcher, outfielder, or infielder. In 1943, the year I was born, he was named by the Pittsburgh Courier as the outstanding moundsman in Negro baseball. In 1946, after 2.5 years in the Army, listen to this, guys, Leon came back and pitched an opening day no-hitter against the Philadelphia Stars. He went 9-4 that year, with a measly .469 batting average, topping the league that season in wins, strikeouts, innings pitched, and complete games.
And in 1951, at the age of 35, with Toronto in the AAA International League, Leon finished the season with a 1.58 earned run average. Leon Day spent the latter part of his career pitching, as you call it, AAA? Can I call it that?
Uh-huh.
AAA sounds, well, I know what that is. AAA baseball for Winnipeg and Brandon in the Canadian League, and finally retired at the age of 41 in 1956. Day began his playing career with the Baltimore Black Sox in 1934, the same year they moved to Chester, Pennsylvania. He returned in 1949 to play for the champion Baltimore Elite Giants. Most of his playing years, however, were spent with the Newark Eagles.
Monty Irvin says, quote, Day was as good as or better than Bob Gibson. Larry Doby notes that, quote, he didn't see anybody in the major leagues that was better. Well, welcome to 21st Century Radio's Hieronimus and Company, where knowledge comes first. Future Hall of Famer Leon Day.
That was a fine time you've been having the last couple of days, Leon. And we understand it's far from over because Governor William Donald Schaefer has something special planned for you in the weeks ahead.
Leon, in your opinion, what was the difference between black and white professional ball?
Well, the difference was the playing fields and the money, the pay.
Yeah?
That was the difference.
You guys were making a lot more money than the white players, right?
Oh, a whole lot more.
That's right, I'm sorry. Yeah, I bet you were.
What was different about the field?
Well, they had better diamonds to play on. Their diamonds were, smoother.
But they were the same sizes?
Same size, bases and everything, same thing, but we played on some rough diamonds.
Yeah, I bet you did play on some rough diamonds.
And the pitching was a lot different, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Tell us about that.
Pitching was for real. They would throw at the batters, and try to knock them down and brush them back and things like that.
And that was legal, right?
That was legal, yeah. Umpires wouldn't say a word.
Wouldn't say a word, and even the managers would say,
throw at
them.
That's right.
Right? And it was your job to throw at them or you're in trouble, right?
So not only did you stand up and try to hit the ball, but you had to be careful you didn't get killed in the process.
Yeah, be ready to duck at all times.
Did you all wear batting helmets?
No.
No batting helmets either.
One guy, Willie Wells, wore a miner's helmet. One of the miner's caps?
Yeah.
He's the first one I seen to wear a helmet.
He must have been one of the first to get hit hard in the head. And he said, I think I need protection from that.
Now, there are some other pitches that were legal in the Negro Leagues that the white leagues weren't allowed to throw. Tell us a little bit about those, what we call illegal pitches.
Well, there was sandpaper. They'd use sandpaper to rough the ball up.
What would that do when they did that?
It'd make the ball, the wind get in the cut or the rough on the ball and make it move. You hold the cut up.
Yeah.
It'll go down. You hold it down, it'll go up.
Whoa.
Hold it on the side, you go that way, And they would use needles.
Needles?
Gramophone needles. Stick it down in the line into the ball.
Yeah.
That'll make it move.
That'll make it move too. Whoa, boy.
Vaseline.
Vaseline?
Yeah.
Oh my
Put a
heavens.
little Vaseline on his leg and just do like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
That'll do it.
Yeah, that'll do it, all right. What about spiking? The reason why I say this is most people like to say, Hot Ty Cobb, he was one of the toughest base runners in the whole wide world because he'd spike you every now and then. Well, what about spiking in the Negro Leagues?
Well, if you got spiked, you spiked. See, what we'd do is try to get you.
Uh-huh.
If you spike one of my players, then everybody's after you.
You have any scars?
Yeah, oh yeah, I've got scars. I've been spiked.
So if you were, let's say, running around to first, the first baseman could spike you as you go to hit the base?
No, he'd have to look out for me spiking him.
So sharpening your spikes was a normal thing.
Normal.
A lot of people make a lot of Ty Cobb sitting over there with his file, right, Todd? Sharpening his spikes. But from what I understand, most of the players carried little files in their back pocket and sharpened up in between innings. Baseball was a dangerous game then.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I'll say. Well, we've kind of cleaned it up a little bit. Now, as we noted, you guys made outstanding salaries, didn't you, Leon? You were.
Oh yeah, I started out with $60 a month.
$60 a month. Yeah. You think Eddie Murray will play for $60 a month? What about food money? You got some food money,
Oh,
don't you?
$1 a day.
$1 a day. Well, that'd buy you almost a half a loaf of bread these days, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the food, obviously, salaries weren't the reason why you were playing.
No, we played because we loved the game.
You loved the game. Yeah. Now, the length of the playing season for good players, because there's a big difference between the length of the playing season for good players and the average players. Is that right?
Right.
Right. What happened? Why? What happened to you? Say, for instance, you finished your season with Newark Eagles. You guys won the championship. Then you go where? What do you do?
We go to Puerto Rico.
Go to Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico. Some guys go to Cuba.
Mm-hmm.
They'll go down play in the winter.
Mm-hmm. You also played in a number of other places besides Puerto Rico. Where else you play?
Cuba, Mexico, Venezuela.
Down south.
Were the rules the same down there, like the spiking, the throwing the ball at the players?
Not as much as in the Negro Leagues.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we went down, it was only three Americans on a team. So
that's right. They wouldn't allow more than a certain number, right?
Three.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because the American teams were better and they didn't want you to overstock the fields?
Yeah.
Now, Jackie Robinson's entrance into the major leagues certainly spelled the end for black baseball. Satchel Paige and Josh Gibson were both disappointed that they were not chosen to fulfill that destiny. Why do you think Jackie was the right man to integrate major league ball?
Well, I think he had played in college. He played against the white boys in college.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a college graduate.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's why they took him.
Yeah, he seemed to have a lot of patience. He was able to take a lot of stuff. But of course, Satchel said that it probably aged him considerably because he had to take a great deal of abuse.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
We talked to Gene Benson, I believe it was last week, and he remarked that what he said to Jackie was, where you're going is a lot easier than where you've come from, right?
Yeah,
right.
That's when Jackie was thinking, I don't know if I can do this in the white leagues. Well, he certainly did. You know, the world knows you as a soft-spoken gentleman who won't toot his own horn. You know that, Leon?
No, I don't.
Well, that's true. It's true. And many have said that because of this, Cooperstown hasn't given you the honor that you so richly deserve. Now, I'm going to put you on the spot here, Leon. Okay? All right.
You better watch it. He's got
ready?
a ball in his pocket.
Yeah, I'm going to throw one of those needle balls. Why do you belong in the Hall of Fame?
Well, I think I belong in the Hall of Fame because I was a pretty good ball player.
Yeah.
Better than average, you know.
Better than average. This is a man sitting here who holds so many records, right? That's what they're called, records in the leagues. What was your most memorable moment in ball?
Opening day in 1946.
And why?
I pitched a no-hitter.
Pitched a no-hitter, opening day, 1946. Who'd you play against?
Philadelphia Stars.
Oh.
Who was the
Gene
first
Benson.
batter? It sounds like he knows it all.
Is that Gene? That's Gene Benson's team, right?
Yeah, Benson was there.
Oh, I bet you he didn't like that. That's right. Now, Leon, I heard from about 6 different authors, so I don't know really very much. The problem is you can read and read and read and not really know very much. I'm sure you're familiar with John Holloway's work and Jim Riley's work. Riley just absolutely adores you, as you well know. And of course, there are a number of other authors. Now, the thing that I wanted to emphasize here was that the Negro Leagues weren't just one league. There were a number of them, right?
Yes, it was.
Tell us a little bit about that in the few minutes that we have here. And, of course, you're going to be with us a few more minutes when we get into the second hour, as long as you want to stay with our other guests. But tell us about, how was it divided up?
Well, the teams on the East Coast were the Negro National League.
I see.
And teams out west was in the American League, Negro American League.
Which was older, the American or the National?
I think the American League, was older.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so the ones on the East Coast comprised what teams?
New York Black Yankees, Cuban Stars, Newark Eagles, Philadelphia Stars, Baltimore United Giants.
Mm-hmm. All right. Now,
and the Homestead Grays.
Oh, the Homestead Grays. Boy, we can't forget them, right? Boy, that's some interesting people. You, of course, mentioned the Newark Eagles. You had some very interesting owners of the Newark Eagles, right?
Yes, Abe Manley was the owner.
Yeah, and his wife, Effa?
Effie.
Effie was pretty particular, wasn't she?
Yes, she was.
Leave it to women to know what they want.
Did she really insist on shining shoes and things like
no,
that?
She wasn't that.
Oh, she wasn't like that.
She wasn't like that.
You only like that, right, dear?
Oh, yes, I insist that you buff your tennis shoes every day.
Yes, indeed. All right. Now, out west, further out west. When we're talking about west, we're not talking about California right now. We're talking about
Kansas City.
Yeah. Right. In Kansas City, what teams were out in that particular region?
Kansas City was the Kansas City Monarchs.
Monarchs.
Out there.
Yeah.
They had Chicago American Giants. They had St. Louis Stars. I think the Memphis Red Sox was in that.
Oh, Memphis Red Sox.
That league, and a couple more teams. I can't remember.
Birmingham.
There is Birmingham.
Birmingham Black
Birmingham
Barons.
Barons, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's where Willie Mays played for a year, right?
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
indeed. All right, so we got about a minute left to go before we end our show tonight. That is, this hour tonight, friends. One last question to Leon. Leon, in your opinion, what was the best team ever in Black and Negro League history?
The Newark Eagles.
The Newark Eagles. I wonder why he said that. I think Effie must have
Told him
must
if
have
he
given you a
didn't.
phone call. Well, friends, next hour we're going to talk with Monty Irvin. Oh, gosh. You know, all of us know about Monty Irvin as he played in the White Leagues, but did you know he had 11 years in the Negro Leagues? Only hitting a paltry 379, I think it was, somewhere around there. Can you imagine a player hitting over 370? You did that. Did you do that, Leon? Yeah, Leon did that. I did that once in Little League.
Yeah.
But
You did not.
Yes, I did. I hit over 400.
Prove it. You know what he always says to me when I say something? Let's see the proof. Let me see your stats.
Well, okay, dear. We're going to show you my stats next hour when we have Monty Irvin joining us. Leon's going to be here for a while, as long as he wants. Todd, Lee, and Geraldine. Geraldine's got a good pitching arm herself. We'll be back in just...
Catcher. She caught Leon.
Did she really? Good job. All right, we'll be back in just a few minutes.